consider myself very fortunate not to suffer from attention deficit disorder. I've often wondered what it would be like to live with such a difficult affliction. Then I discovered Wrestling Society X. Wrestling Society X was a short-lived wrestling show that aired on MTV in 2007. Formed out of the ashes of Extreme Pro Wrestling, this show was the embodiment of what it's like to have ADD. Every match on the show was a wild spot fest with almost no psychology, not like you had time to tell a story since each episode was only a half an hour, punctuated by lightning-quick camera cuts, sloppy editing, laughable special effects, and noise. Oh my god, so much noise. 10 episodes of the show were produced in all, and of them, only 9 of them made it to air. And if you ask me, that was about 8 or 9 episodes too many. But don't take my word for it, just watch and you'll see what I mean. Every episode kicked off with ring announcer Fabian Kalin, which, man, the symbolism of that name, it could go over your head if you weren't careful.
Welcome to Wrestling Society X! Tonight, the world of WSX begins! And it begins not with a whimper, but with a
Wow, that's excitement. That's got me pumped up for some awesome wrestling. Just a second. Hello? Yeah, I can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of a review. Wait, hang on. What? The pilot episode featured a WSX Rumble to determine the 2 men who would fight to become champion. The rules were part Royal Rumble, part ladder match, part death match.
Wrestlers 1 and 2 start the match, and a new wrestler enters every 45 seconds thereafter. Once all 10 men have entered, the 2 contracts will be in play.
Stop right there. You've already lost your audience. The average MTV viewer can't read above a 2nd grade level. Check out some of this crazy shit that went on during the match.
What up, belly to back suplex?
Oh my god! What is going on? Oh my god! Just put me through the table, bro!
Oh, Alcatraz through the table on the concrete floor!
That all happened at once. Instead of feeling a heightened sense of emotion, I feel nothing because everything is so condensed. I have become uncomfortably numb. About a minute later, Youth Suicide is powerbombed onto a pile of thumbtacks. How the hell am I supposed to care about that after I just saw a pair of guys get electrocuted?
That 6-pack has already grabbed the contract! Oh no!
Oh my god! Did you see that?
Okay, time out. Isn't Wrestling Society X supposed to be some sort of underground fight club thing? I mean, that's the idea you're supposed to get from watching the intro. The whole point of being underground is to not be detected by local law enforcement, so why are you making as much noise as possible with massive explosions and a screaming doofus for a ring announcer? And while we're at it, can we talk about these damned explosions? I know this is supposed to be inspired by Japanese death matches that use C4 explosives and the like, but if you're gonna do that, why not go all the way and use real explosives instead of cheesy special effects you need to add in post? Or if you're gonna use CGI explosions, why don't you just make it for everything?
They are not gonna dunk his head in what's... They are dunking! What in the world is this? It looks like they're making a statement right here. That is a dead fish!
Every week, the show would feature a musical guest, because at this point, MTV was at least trying to live up to its original name. And then the musicians would join the guys on commentary. Most of the stuff they said was relatively benign, but one comment from the guys in Sparta kind of caught me off guard.
I gotta ask you guys, just watching Teddy in the ring, is this reminiscent? You said you liked Bret Hart back in the day. Is this reminiscent of the matches you guys used to watch?
Absolutely. I used to watch, from, the Ultimate Warrior, all them, Jake the Snake.
Your comparison is bad and you should feel bad. And wait a minute, is that Pitbull?
Now, rumor has it you're a big-time wrestling fan.
I'm a big wrestling fan. Let's go. I'm ready to see somebody do something crazy. I want to see him jump like off the top, though. That's what I want to see.
Wow, he sounds pretty reserved for the guy who goes on to become the guy in every pop song. No Mr. Worldwide, no Dale or anything like that.
Have you ever seen agility from a man that size, Pitbull?
I don't know what's going on, buddy.
Well, I didn't say he sounded intelligent. Controversy came in episode 4 when Ricky Banderas threw a fireball in Vampiro's face.
Oh, he's just unleashed hell on Vampiro!
Okay. The fireball spot was only seen on the DVD version of the show, but it was pulled from the MTV version after the network deemed it unairable. So wait a minute, hang on a second. You're gonna tell me that the network that brought you this,
Strike three.
and this, and this, and this, thinks that a space and time distorting fireball to the face is too much for viewers to bear? The final episode of the series never made it to air, and it makes sense, because if MTV didn't like some measly fireball, then they sure as hell would have hated the double main event of the Piranha Tank Death Match and the Exploding Cage Time Bomb match.
Get him out here and go!
I honestly don't understand MTV's logic here. Why wouldn't they have let this episode go to air? Why'd they edit out the fireball of Vampiro? That stuff's too much for them, yet they showed people getting electrocuted and blown up in a very similar fashion on the very first episode? What gives? Wrestling Society X was a lame duck just 4 episodes in. The promise of new championships never materialized. MTV aired the remaining episodes minus the finale in a weekend marathon, and that was the end of the series. So that, in a nutshell, was Wrestling Society X. It was insane, it was frenetic, it was way over the top. But is it really all that bad? By and large, the wrestlers were certainly talented. Many of the people on the roster either came from or would go on to work for some of the country's biggest wrestling organizations, so these guys knew what they were doing. They knew they were severely limited on time, so they had to start out with a fast pace and huge moves. But the pacing of the show and the outrageous stunts turned off a lot of viewers, myself included. I know I had a hard time enjoying this show when just glancing at the television gave me a headache. But they were trying to be different. They were trying to set themselves apart from WWE and TNA, so this was their way of going about it. You can't really fault them for trying to be unique, something TNA could never dream of doing. And as nuts as it was, that extreme style is appealing to a large part of the American wrestling fan base. It's why ECW and XPW were popular when they were around, and why CZW is a successful indie organization today. Wrestling Society X was not quite the worst thing to happen to wrestling. It was an acquired taste, a niche product that was not ready to be embraced by the casual wrestling fan. You might say that it was merely guilty of being too ambitious, but hey, at least it had a perfect home on MTV. I'm Brian Zane, and this has been Wrestling with Regret. I'll see you next time.